Hello, and welcome to an introduction to Pinterest. My name is Jessica. I am one of the library clerks at the Macedon Public Library. I'm here today just to go over how to use Pinterest, what uses it has, what kind of utilization. Last week I did a um, presentation on Facebook. So we're going over a couple different social media sites. So if you don't know what Pinterest is, or maybe if you have only heard of it or you've only used it a little bit, this might be helpful to get a better sense of what it can do and how it could be useful to you. So you can see my screen here is that we are just at www.pinterest.com. So Pinterest.com. So the first thing you'll see is welcome to Pinterest, and you'll have the option to either log in or to sign up. If you are a business, you can also create a business account. Today, I'm just going to be going over the personal, like a regular personal account. So we're going to click sign up, and you have a couple different options here. You can sign up via your email, or you can sign up using your Facebook account. If you do link to your Facebook account, you do have to allow some or access to your Facebook account. So Pinterest will have access to like your profile and your pictures and your information and whatnot. So if you, or you can also continue with your Google account. So if you don't want that, if you just want it separate from your other accounts, you can just sign in with your email. So I'm just going to use a new email address that I created for this. I'm just going to create a password. I'm going to put in my age and just hit continue. And since I know that this isn't linked to an existing account, it's going to start from fresh. Okay, so you can see here we've got welcome to Pinterest, and it's going to have you answer a few questions to get you started so it can start suggesting some pins to you. So just go ahead and click next. And then it'll ask you how you identify, and you can answer however you like. Pick your region and your language. And then pick at least one category you want to explore. So for this, let's say we want to look at some art and photography. We want to look at some home decor, maybe some health and fitness, and some DIY crafts. So we'll just pick a couple of them. Now pick 5 or more topics to go deeper. So it'll take those things that you suggested before and now have you dive a little deeper into that. Say we want to do some easy DIY. You can already see the background starting to shift. Some positive quotes. Some, let's say, we want some home decor. We want some drawing art and some, let's say for health and fitness, we're looking for self-care and some yoga. So we've just got a few topics, and then it'll start building a feed for you. All right. So as you can see, it already tells you, here's how to get the most out of Pinterest. Click on the pin that you like, save it for later. You can also get an app as well. So how Pinterest works and how it's different from other social media sites is that, and part of the reason I really like it is because it's a very visual medium. And that resonates well with me. I'll be honest that I don't really understand like Instagram. So I can't really speak to it, but I tried to join Instagram once and it wanted me to follow some people and it had some very nice images, and I'm not sure if you can do this on Instagram, but why I like Pinterest is because you can find those things that you're looking for and you can pin them to boards, just like if you had, the idea of being like if you had a physical cork board and you had different interests. So you were taking pictures and maybe pinning it, to this board about travel. And then maybe you had another thing you cut out from a magazine and you pinned it to this board about recipes. And what Pinterest is that is a digital place to save all of those boards and all of those pins so that you can find them easily and you can go back to them. And that's why I like it, because I have a lot of varied interests that don't often sometimes coincide, but not necessarily. And a lot of the times I might think like, oh, where did I see that recipe? Oh, wait, where did I see that dress, idea? And I really liked the way that it looked. And, and I'm trying to remember. And it used to be on my computer, I had a ton of bookmarks, and now I have Pinterest in which I can save everything in one place. What's also nice about Pinterest is that all of these pins or images are links through to websites. So, for example, here is a DIY outdoor chair. Let's say that we're looking for, a project to build some outdoor furniture. And not only can I think like, oh, I kind of like that picture. Now, if I was just searching for an image, I might come across like on Google or Instagram, for example, someone might have a picture of a chair like this, and I might think, oh, that looks kind of like something I could make myself. I might not have, then I'd have to spend other time searching chair, diagrams, chair building plans, and I might not come across this exact thing that I'm looking for. But here I can see this. I can see that it's a DIY project, and I can follow it through to the website that it came from. So I can actually see this was a blog post from someone who has, it looks like a whole blog dedicated to building things, to DIY crafts and building and home improvement. And so I might also discover a whole other website that I also want to frequent or I want to follow off of Pinterest. I might save that pin, and then I also might find like, oh, I might want to read through her other lists of projects, her other plans. And what I like too, that not always happens on websites, is when you click a link, this opens it in a new window, which I really like, because then maybe you want to look at this in a minute, but you want to go back here and make sure. So rather than having to click the back button or go forward. So let's say that we like this pin and we want to save it. Now we have to create a board to save it to. So it's got some suggestions here. But maybe I have something in mind that I'm looking for. I'm looking to furnish a particular area of my house, and I want to lump all those potential projects in one place. So let's say that I want to name this something specific to myself. So let's say sunroom furniture. Maybe I'm looking for something for a sunroom in my house. Whereas if I just pinned it to, for my purposes, if I just pinned it to outdoor furniture, that wouldn't work for me. So you can make it very individualized. So I'm going to go ahead and click create. And now I have this board. And the first pin, it will be the sort of, I guess you can call it the cover photo of that board. And it'll suggest to me other things in that area. Since we're just starting out, it'll show me a lot of things about outdoor furniture now, but as I start to save pins and I start to have varied interests, your opening page will start to become varied. It'll have all of those things. So for right now, it's showing me, oh, okay, it's going to try to guess, okay, what are you looking for? What is it you want to see? If you ever come across something where maybe it's not something you were looking for, or maybe it's just way off, or sometimes even if you feel like this might be a little inappropriate, um, this wasn't what I was looking for, you can, let's see here. Let me see if I can just, okay, whoops, gone too far now and it's just having to think. Okay, so let's say that, this is a thing for the flat stomach workout. Let's say this wasn't what I was looking for some reason. I can click this little button down here with the 3 dots, and it'll tell me why, why was it suggesting this to me? Well, because, I had clicked yoga as one of my interests. So I can choose to hide this pin. I can see fewer pins from that category that I picked, download interest, or even if it's something that you feel like violates Pinterest's guidelines, you can, whoops, I didn't actually mean to click that, but you can report it. So you can say, and it'll ask you why, is it misleading? Is it spam? Is it sexually explicit? Misinformation, self-harming, hateful, dangerous goods, harassment, graphic violence, intellectual property. And I've been using Pinterest for a few years now. The most I've ever had was maybe something that was a little more explicit of a sexual nature than one, not even anything like, it wasn't anything really bad, but things that maybe it was like, oh, that wasn't quite what I was looking for. I think I've only reported a pin once that really seemed uncouth and like it shouldn't be on Pinterest. So it's a very, I guess what you could call clean website. And since it's all predicated on your own interests, the more you pin, the more it'll personalize to you, the less you have to worry about seeing content that you are not interested in or don't want to see. Now, let me see, I gotta move my little. So what we are on right now is on your Pinterest feed, which will show you recommendations based on what you've pinned in the past. If you want to go to your own profile and see what you've pinned, your history basically, and your boards, you can click on this little icon over here, which will be coordinated to your name. It'll be like with the first letter of your name. So I can see here, so far I only have one board. So I would see, I can organize this area by boards. I can organize it by pins. I can also mark things that I have personally tried. Like I could take pictures. If I did build this chair, I could take pictures and say that I, that I have tried it. If I want to go back to my feed, I can click home and get more pins. Today is, today's picks, what is going on, what is popular. Following is you can follow other users. So let's say that you are finding a lot of pins that you like, or say you realize that you tend to like a lot of things from the same place, like let's say HGTV. You can actually go ahead and click follow, and their pins will come up, or their content that they're supplying will come up with more frequency on your feed. Let's say we want to see also some, let's say we want to follow Home Depot or Target, or DIY joy, we can do that, and that'll help customize our feed. See, right now it says it's building your new feed. The other thing is it has it often updates. So if you walk away from your computer and come back in a little bit of time, an hour or so later, this page will actually refresh and it'll show you new pins. Another thing you can do is you can check your updates. You can see when people have pinned, maybe they've pinned your pins, they came to your boards and saw something they like, so they repinned it. This little quote bubble here is you can connect with friends. Like I will, let me see here if I can find myself. Yes, there I am. So if I wanted to send a, if I found a pin that I really liked that I wanted to send to a friend of mine who I knew was on Pinterest, I could find them and send it to them. So like in this case, I'm just wanting to send a message, but let me see here. All right, let's say I really liked this bath setup. When you're on a pin, there's a couple of options. If you click on the image itself, it'll take you to the website that it originated from. You can also see comments. Like sometimes you will find where there's actually be a string of comments or feedback. If I click this, it's kind of more options. You can download the image, or again, you can report it. This right here, you can send or share this pin. So you can share it to your various social media sites, or you can send it to people you know. Can't even spell my own name. So let's say I wanted to send this to somebody I knew. I can send it. And then right here where it says view chat, it'll show the conversation, and then the person can reply to it. Oh, that looks great. Or they can maybe reply with a pin of their own. Have you seen this? Things like that. You can talk back and forth. You can, right here, you can add a pin, send a pin back. It'll give you some suggestions. You can send a heart, like, oh, I love this. If you are getting a message that from someone you don't know, or maybe you didn't realize, or it might be spam, you can report it with this little flag up in the corner. Also, you can see here, it's also got a link where you can learn about their policies. So at the end of the day, what makes Pinterest really helpful to me is, like I said, it's a place to collect a lot of various ideas, a lot of varying information. It's a very visual medium, which works very well for me. What I will show you now here, and well, before I go, I'll just show you where you can link accounts, or you can add like a personal account or a business account. You can tune your home feed, install the Windows app, get help, see their terms. So if you go to settings, you can modify some of your settings, your name. You can do a little about in your profile, your location if you'd like. You can claim your website if you have a website. And then any pins that came from that website, they will link it to your account. You can edit your notifications. How much do you want to be notified? Privacy, security, things like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'll show you a little bit more of a well-developed Pinterest page by showing you the Pinterest page from the Maston Public Library. So if I go to login, and it'll automatically remember the last one I was in. So if you say not you, log in with a different account. This one's already got it saved. Okay. Give me 1 second here because I seem to be having some difficulties. Okay, so I had to pause there for a minute because I apparently couldn't remember or wasn't putting in the password correctly, so I had to. So what happened then was it sent me an email. I opened up my email and clicked a link, and it took me directly here. So this is the feed for the Macedon Public Library Pinterest page based on the things that we've pinned. So you can see a bit of variation here. We've got some science projects, we've got some recipes, we've got some crafts, we've got some bullet journal, we've got some mental, self-help, we've got a few things. So this is what it is suggesting to me based on what we've pinned. So this is how your feed will start to become more personalized. You can also see up here at the top, it says, see anything you don't like, let's edit your feed. You can do that. I'm not going to do that right now, so I'm just going to hit not now. So if I want to see the pins that we have already pinned, I just click on my little profile and I can see here the Macedon Public Library resources page. We've got a few boards for people to look at. We've got craft ideas for teens and adults. We've got recipes. We've got, some learning at home activities. As kids were home from school, we've got some fun with science also for kids. Health and wellness, things to do, you can see right here, things to do when you're bored, things to do when people are home. Crochet patterns, kids crafts, some cleaning information, some lists of books, some COVID-19 safety resources, and some bullet journal ideas. So what you can do is, if you would like to see what we're posting at the Macedon Public Library, you can search for us up here, and when you find us, you can follow us. And then that means when we pin things, those will also be included. Not every pin, but some of our pins will be included in your news feed. You can also see up here, I've got a lot of notifications telling me, 2 of your pins were saved. And what this does is, if your pins are being saved, you can see which ones are popular. But it can also show you like what boards were they pinned to. So these are the other people's boards that they pinned these to, and maybe you like what they're doing because obviously they liked something similar to you. Maybe you have similar taste to them, and now you want to follow that board that they just pinned your idea to, or pinned your pin to. So you can now follow them, and that's how you can build your feed. But in this way, you can also look at someone's boards, to see, maybe I'm looking for science ideas for my kids. Maybe I'm, maybe we're bored at home and we want to dive more into science. Or maybe we're just looking for something fun to do. So you can look, a lot of things collected in one location, as opposed to, say, maybe a Google search where you're just getting the wording, telling you, or even an image search, which might show you the image, but might not necessarily connect to the website that's going to give you the information. One caveat I will say is that you do need to have a little bit of discernment, because while it's mostly very good, sometimes, and I found particularly when looking for crochet patterns, sometimes you'll try to click through looking for the pattern that you see in the image, and you might be taken to something that's maybe just a collection of lists that you then have to click through again to get to the original website. So that can just be something unexpected. Sometimes it can be downright frustrating. Um, but for the most part, you're getting the direct website off of the direct image on Pinterest. Um, so I hope that was helpful to everybody, and I hope it gives you a little bit of an idea of how to use Pinterest, how it can be a lot of fun. As I said, it's very helpful for people that are very visual. A lot of people seem to think it's just relegated to, um, just crafty housewives or moms that want to do fun birthday parties, but it's actually, there is a lot to be offered. There is a lot of information to be found here, um, a lot of interests to be explored. Um, on my personal Pinterest page, I have a lot of information about writing. I've found a lot of information condensed into one area. I've got a lot of like writing prompts, a lot of writing tips, because writing is my personal passion. Um, I know I've seen there's a lot of photography, there's a lot of art, there's a lot of drawing, there's a lot of tutorial information for just about anything you could want to find. So I really do hope that if you have been heard of it and you have been thinking about it, that you do give it a try, because it isn't just for maybe putting together a cutesy craft, although it can be that too. But there is a lot more to offer than I think some people give it credit for. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that encouraged you to help give it a try. I hope that you are all having a happy, healthy, wonderful time, staying safe, getting out into some sunshine. And I want to thank you for joining me today, and I hope you have a great day.